I went to a funeral today. It was heart-wrenching. It was a young man who was only 24 years old. In the front of the church sat the mother, the father, and the three remaining siblings. I want to start by saying this is a holy family. I'd always felt that this family was devout, but in seeing the passing of their firstborn son, I learned to a greater level what holiness this family was. Remember, to be holy means to be set apart. This young man had his whole life ahead of him. He was successful, and so many of you who have lost someone, you can say that about your loved one. And while I am in prayer and devastated about this young man and for the family, this video is more about the devotion, the stronghold we are all to have in God. For as many years as I've been at my church, for 15 years, this family has been there, never missed a Sunday. They have their children active in the church. The decedent was an altar server. The other children very active in the church. The father was in the choir, is in the choir with me. And as I watched them today, when their son passed, they found out on a Saturday. The family was at Mass Sunday, less than 12 hours after finding out about their son's death. And one person asked them, "You're here? Why are you here?" And the mother replied, "Where else would I be? Where else could I be? Who else has the medicine?" This family got it. When the greatest of grief came into their life, they ran to the healer and they clung to him. And as I watched this family in church today, when the choir sang, this father sang as loudly and boisterously as he ever did before, though it was his son's funeral. The siblings smiled and laughed and had their clear inside jokes going when different parts would happen. The priest who gave the homily talked about how this young man would, mess with father on occasion. They had such a good relationship. And then the father came up and he gave the eulogy for his loved son. And he turned that eulogy back towards God. What really solidified for me that this was a holy family was when he said, the father, that from his children's youth, he decided to set a vision for their family. A vision statement, I should say, a mission statement, that our family would be compassionate and loving and seek to do well in all things, to be there for others and for the stranger, and to love God. This family, this father set a vision statement for his family and made the family all come together and agree to it and even amend it. And one of the daughters had added to it, and to live a healthy lifestyle, because that, of course, is turning back to God, because he gave us this vessel. I've seen other people. I'm in the choir. I'm there for many funerals. I've seen other people go through this devastation, and I will not judge anyone's hearts. I have never lost a child, and I don't presume to know what it's like to lose a child, and I never would presume to judge the hearts of people. But I tell you, those who are not regular churchgoers, those whose hearts aren't sold out to God, are the ones I saw struggle more. I think of a particular family whose young teenager died at the age of 17 or 18. And I would have just as much grief. But this family didn't attend regularly, and this family was nothing but angry at God and angry at others and angry at each other, and ended up getting divorced. When you do bump into them, when you do see social media posts, you see anger and ugliness. Again, I've never lost a child. I can't presume to know their hearts. And I pray I never have an opportunity to feel what any of these parents are feeling. But the point of my video is when you don't have a foothold in the faith, when you do not have an absolute sold out relationship to God, grief will be magnified. Because to whom would you turn? Who do you turn when the going gets tough? Or you can still turn to the same God, but it's harder, I would presume, once someone's been taken and our heads are spinning and our lives have been turned upside down. So I focus more on this family, like another young family 25 years ago I saw when their 18-year-old daughter was killed in a car accident. That family too was in church the following Sunday, and I looked at them, and though I saw tears on their face, I saw peace. And when I looked to them and I said something to them after Mass, they said, our daughter is in a better place. Our daughter gets the privilege of being with God. I want to be like that family. I want to be like the family I saw today. And so what I encourage each of you is I pray you never get the knock on the door that this family got or that the other family got years ago. Any of these families, none of them, any of them. You don't want that knock on the door. But in order to prepare ourselves, should that day ever come, whether it's a knock about a child or it's a cancer diagnosis or it's a fill in the blank, if you want to be able to handle that with the same grace and peace that the family handled it today, you must bury yourself in God now. You must learn of his laws. You must immerse yourself in his word. You must become a rich part of his family, seeking to know him better, going to Mass, going to adoration, finding out any way you can love him deeply and more, drawing your children closer to him so that when the time comes, like that worldwide experience had happened 3 years ago, they shut down all the churches. Those who had a strong faith in God were able to go through that in peace. I guess the purpose of this video is to have you do that. Please go prepare yourself today. Go fall in love with God today. Even if your life is, especially if your life is doing great and you're comfortable and you're happy, please, I beg of you, go find out who God is today. Fall in love with him so that when the hard times come, you immediately can fall into the hands of your healer, the one who knows you, who loves you, who knit you in your mother's womb, and who loves you so much he would die for you. Oh, as a matter of fact, he did. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. I thank you for watching yet another informational Bacon Bit. And I do want to remind you to continue and to always live your life sunny side up.